We are here as the African National Congress, to extend warm as well as revolutionary greetings. I'm also here, President, to immediately give you the assurance that the ANC, in relation to the question that you raised, Uguti, where do we stand? Do we stand with the workers or do we stand with the bosses? The ANC is not confused. It has never been confused. We've always declared our irrevocable bias to the working class of our country. We have always sought to have a working class bias, and in fact, we don't even have to choose Mongameli. There is no choice to be made. We know where we stand. And where we stand is with the working people of our country and nowhere else. And from an ideological point of view, it's also important to understand the concept, class consciousness. What is class consciousness? Another aspect of it is not only knowing and understanding where you stand, but also understanding who is there with you. And the ANC is there with the working people of our country, always, irrevocably, permanently, and forever. As a jigi, we will never change from that one. And in understanding concepts like this, we also need to understand that the ANC has been in the trenches with the people of our country and will always be there. President, you also raised another issue in your input, the issue of a national democratic society. What type of animal is this? Because we don't understand it. This is simply what we can call the ideal state that we, as the alliance, as the democratic movement, as led by the African National Congress, aspire to achieve. And this, in the end, is the heart of the strategy and tactics that we've always sought to have and to put in place. It is, comrades, fitting as we meet here today on the 62nd anniversary of the adoption of the Freedom Charter. The Freedom Charter was adopted on this very day in 1955, 62 years ago. That document sets out the vision that our country has always sought to achieve. And it binds us together as an alliance, as a democratic movement, and it also binds us together as a people. It is a vision of a South Africa that belongs to all people who live in it. It is also a vision of a society where no government could ever justly claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people of this country, where the people of our country share in the country's wealth, and where there is progress on a number of levels, where people have houses, where people have security, and where they live in comfort. It is this vision that also finds expression, comrades, in the Constitution of Nihau, in its objectives, in its policies, and its programs. And we applaud you as a union that you embraced this document, the Freedom Charter, and inserted and embedded it in your policies, your objectives, and your constitution. Comrades, as you gather to review progress since your 10th National Congress, and as you identify the priorities of the moment and the tasks that you need to undertake, it is important also to consider the progress we've made in advancing the vision of the Freedom Charter. Working together as a people of South Africa, we have changed the face of our society in a number of profound ways. And it is important, comrades, that we should always pause a little and look back from where we have come. Because sometimes we tend to punish ourselves, we tend to be hard on ourselves, and we tend to conclude that we have not achieved a great deal since the dawn of democracy. 1994 gave us that beachhead moment. It was an important breakthrough in our long struggle. We have utilized that breakthrough quite effectively. We have dismantled apartheid and built credible, durable, and accountable democratic institutions. We've also succeeded in building a public service sector where you are all active participants. We united different public services that we had in our country and fused them into one. And you are the integral part of that. We have provided housing to our people, electricity, water, and sanitation to millions of South Africans. We have also opened the doors of learning and significantly expanded access to both basic and higher education. It is important that we should, as we pause for this moment, particularly as we are going to the ANC's policy conference, where we are going to look at the policies we adopted that have driven this process and enabled the progress we have made. It is important we should look back. Comrade Blade will tell us that when the democratic government got into office, there were some 400,000 students in our higher learning institutions. Today, we have close to 1 million students, and 70% of those are black students. That is progress, comrades. That is progress that we have recorded. And as we look at where we are today, given the difficulties and the challenges that we are experiencing, let us look at both sides and ask ourselves whether have we moved the needle or has it remained where it was? Through redistributive policies and social security programs, we have lifted millions of our people out of underlying absolute poverty. We have improved. That does not mean that we've gotten rid of poverty. We have improved access to health by ensuring that clinics are built, they are maintained, and appropriately equipped. And although, comrades, we have achieved much, we know that there is still much that we still have to do. Many of our people are still poor, and many of them are still unemployed. Many have yet to fully realize their constitutional rights and enjoy the benefits of our freedom. Too many of our people die from hunger, disease, and also neglect. We are still among the most unequal societies in the world as we speak, which means that we still have a lot of work cut out for us. And as we gather here at your National Congress, the 11th one, it is this challenge to fundamentally improve the lives of all our people that must be at the center of our deliberations. Your role in enabling this to happen is therefore critical. Particularly your role when it comes to the overarching project or program that we have, which is implementing the National Health Insurance. Your role is going to be critical. Our clinics and our hospitals must work, and it is you who must make them work. We cannot look at one province and say our clinics and our hospitals in one province work, and yet in other provinces they do not work as well as you want them to work. It therefore rests on your shoulders to make sure that we make the National Health Insurance work. You must give it legs. You must give it the engine that it requires. You are the ones who are supposed to make sure that we deliver the best healthcare service for all our people. It is on your shoulders. Comrades, it is this challenge that must also occupy the minds of the delegates to the ANC's National Policy Conference, which starts later this week. A component of that body of delegates is going to come from you as COSATU. And it is you yourselves as part of the COSATU delegation who must come forward with all the cleverest ideas, the most innovative proposals to make sure that we do indeed make progress at this conference and come up with the best policies. It is at this conference where the ANC, together with its allies, will examine in detail the progress that we have made in implementing the policies that we crafted in Mangaung for radical change. It is this conference that must examine the extent to which it has advanced the vision of the 2012 Mangaung Conference of a new era of accelerated social and economic transformation. It is at this conference that we must establish what has worked, what has not worked. It must also determine where policies need to be refined or changed, where implementation needs to be enhanced. Most importantly, that policy conference must establish a platform for rapid growth, massive job creation, and fundamental economic transformation. This is therefore an opportunity to place our economy on a new trajectory, and a new trajectory that we must all craft and come up with. This is a critical discussion that we should have now as a country, because we find ourselves in difficult economic circumstances. And having recently, comrades, entered a recession, the economy is still some distance from achieving the rates of growth that we need to create the jobs that our country needs on a significant scale. The recent ratings downgrade not only undermined investor confidence, but they make it more difficult and more expensive to raise finance for transformation and the development of our country, but they also make finance more expensive for ordinary people. We need to address these challenges in the context of relatively low global demand for the commodities that we export. We also need to address these challenges in the context of inherited distortions, inefficiencies, and severe inequalities of the apartheid economy. It is therefore critical, comrades, that we act with purpose and urgency on a common program and platform to stimulate growth, job creation, and transformation. And it is also critical that all social partners should bring together their resources, their capabilities, and energies to implement practical measures that can effectively turn our economy around and set us on a path of shared prosperity. And we also need to seriously address the problems that constrain our economy from delivering on the promise that our people had hoped for. The promise of growth, of prosperity, and of a better life. The concentration of ownership and minority control of our economy are some of the key impediments that keep our economy from growing. We need to address this and ensure that the economy is an economy that will be underpinned by inclusive growth. We therefore not only need to de-racialize our economy, but also need to end the domination of a few large companies in the sector. Companies that have been surviving and thriving on riding the monopoly wave. By ending unhealthy market domination, we will be creating space for new entrants, improving efficiencies, encouraging innovation, creating new jobs, and reducing the price of goods and services. Because for as long as we have these huge monopolies, the stranglehold that they continue to have on our economy through price controls, through price hikes, is going to move on. We will begin to make our economy more competitive and more resilient if we lessen that grip. The government itself is working to increase levels of investment in productive capacity through streamlining investment. We are also leveraging on infrastructure investment so that we spend to promote local production and local skills development. We are working to reposition our state-owned enterprises, comrades, to more effectively fulfill their developmental and economic mandates. That includes coordination and oversight, improving governance, and financial sustainability. Most importantly, we also need to urgently get young people into employment. In part, this means that young people should have the skills and the qualifications that our economy needs through increased funding for higher education, the expansion of TVET colleges, and greater collaboration between education institutions and industry. It also means mobilizing companies across the economy to recruit young people into paid internships as part of a massive program to provide valuable work experience to 1 million young people over the next 3 years. It also means significantly increasing support for Black-owned businesses by replicating successful models of incubation and business development. These are among some of the measures that are underway and which need to be accelerated, massified, and intensified so that we can transform our economy and promote inclusive growth so that we can deliver on the promise that people have hoped for of a better life. Comrades, to succeed, however, we need to ensure that there is clear leadership from all sectors of society. The plans are in place. We need to implement what we already have, and we need to inject quite a bit of radical speed and urgency. But in order to succeed, we do need a clear leadership that is going to know that its task is to implement the decisions that are going to be to the advantage of our people. Ngoba akuncedi, it doesn't help to have all these wonderful policies and goals and aims that I've articulated, and if you don't have the leadership that is going to be committed, a leadership that is going to activate the implementation of all this, then all is lost. So all social partners, all of us, need to be united, and we all need to be aware of our responsibility to act in the interests of the country and not in our own interests, and not in the interests of a few individuals. Within this, the alliance needs to play a central role, providing direction, providing leadership, and support. Comrades, we are a governing alliance as led by the African National Congress. What it means is we've got to be moving together, working together, leading the country together, and ensuring that we achieve the objectives that our alliance has set out for itself. The Cuban revolutionary Manuel Piñero was speaking to all of us engaged in the struggle when he said, "Let us increase our vigilance against complacency and arrogance, which may appear like weeds in our work, and if we don't uproot them in time, they wind up invading everything. Let us oppose them with revolutionary unpretentiousness. Let us oppose this with a careful administration of resources, systematization, planning, and the most intelligent use of all human and technical resources that we have. We cannot effect meaningful change if we become complacent, if we become comfortable with our own positions in the status quo. Complacency also means if, as members of the alliance, we see that one component of the alliance is making a mistake and we leave them to continue with the mistake, that is an unrevolutionary act. That is actually a betrayal of the objectives of our revolution. What it means, comrades, is that we must not keep quiet. What it means, comrades, is that we must not shut up. What it means, comrades, is not to do what the president was saying, Guti, we hide our heads beneath the blanket. This is not a moment for going under the blankets. It is the moment of speaking out and not being complacent. We dare not accept that the pace of change is fast enough, or that the means we have employed so far are sufficient. We dare not allow ourselves, comrades, to be blinded by arrogance to the needs of our people. Because yes, there have been times when we have been tempted by incumbency, and we become arrogant. We've become arrogant and we become full of ourselves, and we have thought that we know it all. We dare not allow whatever differences we may have amongst ourselves to blunt our efforts to improve the lives of the working class and the poor. Our main focus, comrades, as people who have been put in key positions, and all of us are, from national right down to branch level, we must always focus on how we can improve the lives of our people, and not our own lives, and not our own pockets. We cannot, as we do all this, have fracturing that happens. We have a huge task ahead of us. We still need to transform our country and deliver to our people that national democratic society, the end state that we all aspire to achieve. We can only do so if we work as an alliance, we work as a strong state and not a weakened state. And we need to confront challenges that we face. We need to identify our shortcomings and acknowledge our failures. Most importantly, we need urgently to take measures to correct our weaknesses. And what we need to do as we look at ourselves as an alliance, because we are not as strong as what we used to be. We are not as united as what we used to be. We need to look at ourselves, because we are the hope and the trust that our people have. Our people, through the length and the breadth of the country, have no other hope other than the alliance that is governing this country. We need to restore their hope in this alliance. We must address the concerns amongst our people that some leaders across all spheres of government and in the private sector are helping themselves to the resources that are meant for the poor. Baye babatata ama resources abantu. And we need to acknowledge that. We must confront the allegations of state capture. As more and more evidence is emerging, lama emails akhupha yonke into ngoku. They are just spewing out everything. We need to address this issue of state capture, because it seems to demonstrate that there's been undue external influence over appointments, over procurement decisions within public institutions. Now, what we need to do, comrades, is to welcome the announcement by the President that he will soon be appointing a judicial commission of inquiry to investigate all these allegations, and that needs to be welcomed. Asishayeleni izandla nayo, because that has been a demand. Comrade Blade has been demanding that. The South African Communist Party has been saying the only way we can get to the root of this is to have this commission appointed. Now the President has agreed that this commission is going to be appointed, and all we are waiting for is for the announcement to appoint this commission. Because that is when the whole truth will come out. So, comrades, I would say, much as it is tempting and all that to continue tearing ourselves on this, we have now, if you like, got a breakthrough. A commission is going to be there. This matter is going to be processed in an orderly fashion. This matter will reach a conclusion transparently, which we will all be aware of. We should also be encouraged by the statement from the Hawks that they are investigating allegations of criminal conduct in this regard. Now, some people may be a bit doubtful about this, and I'm saying we give them the benefit of the doubt. They are the body that is responsible for investigating criminal actions. So let them go ahead and investigate this, and our people will be watching. Our people will be listening, and our people will be observing everything. Angithi kunjalo, my comrades? That's right. South Africans do not want, and they do not deserve, a leadership that will be unaccountable and act with impunity. They want leaders who will conduct themselves with honesty, with integrity, and with selflessness. They want leaders who are able to innovate, to manage change, and to drive essential programs for development. They want leaders, comrades, who will listen to them. Leaders who will keep them engaged, interested, and informed. But more importantly, our people want leaders who will deliver, not leaders who will just make promises. They want leaders who will say, we've heard you and we will respond to your issues and we will deliver. They want leaders whose commitment is to bettering the lives of our people. Our people, comrades, they also want a liberation movement and a progressive trade union movement that is responsive, that is accountable, that is effective and efficient. This year, we have several opportunities to advance the renewal of our movement and alliance. We must engage from this Congress and those of other affiliates of COSATU from the 14th National Congress of the SACP, which is also coming in July, and also from the 54th National Conference of the ANC in December. We must emerge from all these events, comrades. These are important, iconic, milestone events of our democratic movement and the alliance. We must emerge from there united, more coherent, more capable of fulfilling our responsibilities to the people of our country. These events must be events of renewal. They must be events where we renew our strength, where we reinforce our determination to be united. Let us seize these opportunities to decisively tackle the difficulties in our movement and in our alliance. And we must then be able to speak openly and honestly, but we must also be disciplined and principled and ensure that we listen to one another, to our members, and also, more importantly, empower our branches. It is our revolutionary duty, comrades, to organize the working class and ensure that the project that we have at hand, which is to radically transform our country, radically transform the economy of our country, is truly inclusive, and that it fundamentally benefits the workers of our country. It is through the struggle of the working class that the national wealth of our country and the heritage of South Africans will be restored to the people of our country. That means we must work harder to ensure the broad participation of workers in the direction and exercise of political power. Comrades, we do not want workers, through their various formations, to be spectators of the political drama that is happening in our country. Workers must be intricately involved, for they are the engine, they are the wheels that make this country move and work. That is the workers. We must therefore create opportunities for workers to make meaningful contribution in decision making. This needs to take place throughout society, but more especially in the Alliance. The unity of the Alliance is founded on a common program and commitment to the strategic objectives of our national democratic revolution. We should understand that workers participate in the advancement of the NDR because it creates the most conducive conditions through which South Africans will be able to feed and clothe and shelter themselves as part of the journey towards realizing their full human potential. The ANC, comrades, cannot lead a national democratic struggle without a well-organized motive force of the working class, nor can socialists create the conditions for socialism without a democratic society. Workers must therefore organize themselves to ensure that the ANC is indeed a disciplined force of the left that has a bias, a very clear and unambiguous bias towards the working class. It needs to ensure that that working class bias of the ANC is not mere talk, it's not mere rhetoric, but is evident in the policy and practice. In a developmental state, progressive unions are partners of the state. They serve the interests of their members while at the same time collaborating, working with, and advancing a program of social and economic development. They are as committed to the fight against poverty, inequality, and unemployment in broader society as they are in advancing the rights and the working conditions of their members. They know that a union struggle, comrades, cannot be merely to strive to eat and drink and have shelter before it pursues politics. They understand the intersection between the struggles on the shop floor and the struggles for political and economic freedom. To succeed in fulfilling its mission, NEHAWU needs to redouble its efforts and perform a number of tasks. The one that I want to single out and articulate on is that we need to grow NEHAWU. NEHAWU needs to be much stronger than what it is today. We need to make sure that NEHAWU does indeed become a strong and a very powerful trade union. That is what NEHAWU must become. The organization of our working people into unions, comrades, throughout the country is only around 27%, which means that there is still a large scope of workers that need to be drawn into our unions, to be drawn into NEHAWU, but more importantly, to be drawn into the Congress of South African Trade Unions. COSATU must be strengthened. COSATU must be built. We must make sure that COSATU becomes their most powerful trade union federation in the whole of South Africa. That's what we should become. So NEHAWU needs to recruit those workers that are not unionized, proving that it is a capable instrument to protect and to promote the interests of workers. We look to NEHAWU not only to advance the interests of its members in the workplace, not only to advance the interests of its members in communities, but also to take responsibility for contributing to the success of radical economic transformation. I have said this before and I'll say it again. It was with great joy when we saw how COSATU, your federation, proved that its existence is not only to safeguard the interests of its members. When it proved that its existence is an overarching existence to benefit the working people of our country. It proved that more than any other, because when we negotiated the national minimum wage, COSATU did not only inspire the whole process of the national minimum wage, but it led the whole process. And your federation proved that it is a worthy federation that you belong to as NEHAWU. And we applaud COSATU for that. We look to NEHAWU to organize, to mobilize, and to conscientize and strengthen COSATU, the Alliance, and the ANC. We also look forward to NEHAWU to ensure that we have the best public sector workers in our country. Now, this, comrades, is possibly one of your most important challenges. Our objective as the Alliance, our objective as the African National Congress, is to make sure that we truly transform South Africa, and to transform it effectively, we need to have a public sector that is both effective, efficient, innovative, and relevant to our people, a public sector that truly delivers. We want public sector workers who are going to serve our people with humility, with dignity, and with total commitment. And that is where you come in as NEHAWU. It is NEHAWU that must lead that process. For NEHAWU is the public sector that we have in our country, and a public sector that South Africa is proud of and wants to be even more proud of. That is who you are. We have every confidence that NEHAWU will continue through its membership to serve the people of our country. We have every confidence that NEHAWU members, as they serve, they will so serve with dignity, yes, knowing that they belong to COSATU, they belong to an alliance, and an alliance that is going to renew itself. Renew itself to get ready for the battle that lies ahead. Beyond 2017 December, we commence a battle of all battles, where we now get ready to engage in battle to defeat all these other parties that are pretenders to the throne. All these other parties that are now saying they want to occupy the union buildings. That is where NEHAWU is going to play a critical role as we advance to those elections in 2019. Comrades, the other parties have already started to prepare for 2019. And somehow, Some of them are already buying suits, they are already buying dresses because they are dreaming of occupying union buildings. It is you who must make sure that those suits remain in the wardrobe. Azize zincitshwe bayongena ngazo phaya e-union building. So beyond December, comrades, we need to intensify our campaign for the 2019 elections. The 2019 elections start from now. They begin intensifying from December moving forward, because then the African National Congress will be armed with the best policies. It will have the best policies that are underpinned by revolutionary radicalism, policies that are going to be implemented. The African National Congress will also be armed by a united African National Congress, a united alliance that is determined to lead our transformation process forward. But it will also be armed with a leadership that will have been elected at that conference, a leadership which you are going to make sure is a leadership that is committed to serve our people and no one else. A leadership that will not be captured, a leadership that will not be doing funny things, a leadership that is going to lead South Africa into the future. That is going to be your responsibility. So 2019 is here upon us, and it is a moment that we must seize, but it is also a moment that we must go towards knowing that we are going to be victorious. Already, comrades, we should already be getting the machinery of our movement primed to start the mobilization to go and get our victory in 2019. Let us move forward with determination. But we can only do so, comrades, if we are united, if the ANC is renewed. And your task is to make sure that we unite the African National Congress. We get rid of factions. We get rid of all these bad tendencies that have dogged our movement. Let us go and make sure that the African National Congress that emerges after the 2017 conference is an African National Congress that is going to regain the trust and the confidence of our people. That African National Congress that will rekindle the love that our people have with the ANC. As I always say, that is when our people will say, yes, siyayivuma le love back yathu. We want our love back from our African National Congress. Let us go and strengthen the ANC and make the ANC stronger. Long live Nehawu, long live. Forward with Nehawu, forward. Amandla. Viva Kosatu, viva. Long live the spirit of Nelson Mandela, long live. Amandla. Ngiyabonga, comrade.